Welcome! Hey, you ready for this? I'm going to give my first impressions of the new Lightroom 5 beta, now available online as of like today. I just saw something on Facebook. Someone was like, hey, I'm checking out the Lightroom 5 beta. And I was like, Lightroom 5 beta? Wow. Has it been that long? First of all, my history, I have used Lightroom ever since beta 0. So before they ever came out with Lightroom 1. Yeah, I'm pretty cool like that. And I just use it and use it and use it. I mean, I used to teach people, like, what's this Lightroom thing? Now everyone uses Lightroom, or they should be. And I still use Lightroom all these years later. I stopped using Photoshop back when beta came out. So that was a long time ago. At least, has it been 5-6 years ago? Okay. And so I'm excited to see what it has. My first impression was, let's go watch some other videos that people may have done. And I'm like, wait, I have a YouTube channel now. I can make videos. So maybe I should just make a video, and maybe I shouldn't watch all those other videos. I should just read Adobe's own thoughts on what they've come out with and some things like that, and make my own video, see my own first impressions. So I recorded myself trying to figure out some things, and it's long. It's like 40 minutes of trying to figure it out. Well, and I didn't record about 20, so I've been trying to figure it out for a little while now. And I'm going to do the short version of what I think has happened and how it's going to. I'm mainly just going to talk how it's going to affect my workflow. Okay? Okay. So here in the Lightroom journal, they give you some release notes, and then they give you the 5 things. I don't know if there's 5, but there's things that they have added, like the advanced healing brush, the upright feature, the radial filter, the smart previews, the book creation and slideshows. Okay, so the last 2, book creation and slideshows, I've already come up with my own solutions. First solution for the books is I'm having a designer make books. Maybe I'll show her that you can do this in Lightroom, and it may be better for her, but she can do whatever she wants. I'm done with book creation myself, working with the designer. Slideshows and videos. I mean, this may have been cool, but I took a look at the features, and I'm sticking with Premiere. I need something a little more strong. So those I'm not going to go over very much. But these other ones and some of the other, if you can look at this list here, there are Lightroom 5 additional features and JDIs, whatever that means. Okay, so now to Lightroom 5. You can have Lightroom 5 installed at the same time as Lightroom 4, but you cannot open up the 2 at the same time. But the switching back and forth is not so bad. Remember, they have improved the time it takes to launch these catalogs, especially if they're not too big. And I have some catalogs that are way big, like 5 gigabytes big, because there's 200,000 pictures in there. Not going to use those yet because they don't allow you to open a Lightroom 4 catalog in Lightroom 5 beta. You're going to have to wait for the official Lightroom 5. In Lightroom 5 beta, what you would have to do is just re-import the pictures. You can go to Lightroom 4 and hit, like, take all the pictures, select them all like here, and then hit Control S, or go over here to metadata and hit Save Metadata to Files, and then go into Lightroom 5, and when they're imported, it will, as they import, it will read the metadata there. Or if you're doing it afterwards, you can go in and say read metadata from files. So here I have, it's already read the metadata from the files. That's what I did. I did the, save in Lightroom 4 and then read in Lightroom 5. And it brought in the stars and the develop presets, but it did not bring in history, it did not bring in collections, and it did not bring in flags. So what I did was I colored everything that I had flagged, I colored it red, and so then I read the metadata. 2 different usages of the word red. Did you notice that? Anyways, I read the metadata, and it came up as all red, and then I took them all and I added the flag. So it's kind of a workaround, kind of neat, huh? Workaround. And then I can get rid of the redness of all those pictures and then just look at those flagged pictures, okay? What else is new in the library aspect? Not much, really. They added this little thing down here for direction together with your GPS and altitude. But does your GPS unit that you put on your camera do direction? That's my question. I don't know if it has a compass on mine. I use the Nikon GP1. Tell me if it does. Okay, so we're asking ourselves, how is this going to actually change my workflow? And I think one of the biggest things is when I am traveling, it's going to change my workflow because I have my pictures on an external hard drive. Here's an external hard drive. Like, put it on an external hard drive, the pictures, 2 for backup. But maybe I'm in an airport, just taking out my computer, putting it away, or on a flight, and I don't want to hook in the hard drive all the time. Okay, or I'm worried about where I'm going to put it, or it's drawing too much extra power. And so I just want to use these smart previews, which they came up with. And you can do this on import, or you can do this here where you go into library, you have all the pictures selected, previews, and you can say build smart previews. And you can discard them later if you're wanting to save a little bit of space. And that's going to be awesome so that you can develop pictures without having the pictures connected to your computer with the little external hard drive. So I'm going to do this for my next trip in 2 days, where I'm going to take all the pictures that I need to be editing and work on them on the plane, even though it's an overnight flight. So maybe I'll just be sleeping. But you get the picture. And I can leave all the pictures back here at home, and then that means I can't export them yet. I'll have to come home, reconnect the files, and then I can export them. But I can work on all the edits while I'm away, and that is a huge thing for Lightroom 5. Let me give you my perception of Lightroom 5. It's not so much, this is going to impact how you deal with every picture, like how that was the kind of the thinking behind Lightroom 4. We're going to make the interaction with every picture even better. But we're going to solve some of your problems. The smart problem, the smart previews problem. And then when you go into develop, they have added probably the second most interesting features is spot removal already becomes advanced. It becomes advanced healing. And I was really negative on this when I first started using it. I was like, I don't know, this doesn't really seem to work. The intelligence of it hasn't seemed to really improve. In fact, in some cases, it's gotten worse. But you can do a spot heal like this, and then look what you can do over it. So you didn't used to be able to put 2 spots on top of each other. Okay? Just saying, that's pretty cool. And my opinion is that this spot heal works mainly for lines really well. So if there's like a line like this, that's when it starts to shine. There's a lot of things that you can't use it in here to heal everything. It's not necessarily faster. Sometimes the intelligence on it's even worse. But for these lines, or where it's, not saying that you have to get rid of those lines, but I'm just showing you that it works a little bit better on lines. Okay. But you're probably at first going to be frustrated with using this healing because it's not going to be as good as you want. You can't just like heal the whole entire face because it has to draw from somewhere else. So there has to be as big of a clean area as what you're trying to heal. As big of a similar textured clean area as what you want to heal. Okay, probably one of the most exciting features is this upright area, which is now in lens correction. If you look over here, it has like this auto feature, level, vertical, full, and then in manual you also have aspect is an aspect of it. Okay, and I will show you before and after. It's not huge fixes, but it does say that you get better results if you enable profile correction and then you use the then you analyze it, with auto upright. And it did a really good job on this particular picture, though there's not a lot of, like, when you're down below a building kind of looking up. That's kind of what I figure this is going to fix. And since I am going on a year-long adventure to photograph religious buildings, and I'm going to be even in New York next week working on buildings, like, this is a big thing for me. Okay, but this isn't every picture type thing. So it's just solving some problems, like this upright problem. You've got this, let me show you here. Let's take this picture. Let's enable profile correction here. And then let's do auto on this. And yeah, it made the building so it's upright and level the horizon. It's going to do that for you. So you click this button and do the level horizon, and you can hit constrain crop if it's giving you the bordered edges like it may do. It didn't do right there. But anyways, you may understand what I'm talking about. But what we want to do is this this elliptical, what do they call it? A radial filter. So you can do like this, and right here it's invert mask, which means everything inside is going to be whatever preset you have over here, like meh or really dark. And this, for me, is I'm not going to use this above and beyond the brush, because the brush seems to be just a lot faster for me to do things. Okay, it operates a little bit faster. The gradual filter has always been a little bit slower, so the radial filter is very much like it, so it's also going to be a little bit slow. But there are things that I can do with this that I'm pretty excited about. Like I can mimic this circular area like this, and then do my preset for lightning. So that was pretty cool. So I'm going to use this feature a decent amount. I'm going to use the upright feature whenever I come in with pictures that have that problem, especially building stuff. I am going to use the healing on, like, let's say there's a piece of hair on the sensor, or there's lines on things that I need to correct. But I'm still just going to be all regular spot healing, like on little spots like this that I need to create. But maybe telephone lines. We should try to find one with telephone lines and fix those, because telephone lines would be their lines, and they may work for this healing thing. Okay, so this isn't going to work as good as Photoshop. I already know that, but it's just to give you an idea of the power of this. You need, like I said earlier, you need an area of equal, similar style, you know? So if I want to get rid of this, all this telephone wire, if you can draw straight, it's even better. But where's it going to pull from, you know? And what did it just do? It just pulled right next to it. And let's hide this. Telephone wire gone. And there's just this area that kind of looks bad, but maybe I could just do this and heal it. And you can draw over the healings, and that's pretty great. And this is more than just a spot over here, this little dust on my sensor. And that was much easier to do, especially when the dust isn't necessarily circular, spot-like. This is going to be much better than putting spots next to spots next to spots, which is what I used to do. So great feature there as well. So let's recap and let's look at back at their page here. Advanced healing, we saw how that's going to affect my how I'm going to be doing things. I'm going to be getting rid of objects that in areas that I have enough area to draw from. I'm going to be using upright, especially on my buildings, and leveling horizons. I'm going to be using radial filters decently in certain areas, and probably I may start gravitating towards it a little bit just to get used to it, and we'll see how the fight between how much I use brush and how much I use radial filters. I'm not going to be using book creation and video. The video, like the slideshow section. The slideshow section is just too. It's a mess here. It's not something that I'm going to use above Premiere. But I'm going to start using the video editing in Lightroom and exporting them and then importing them into Premiere, because I understand video editing or image editing in Lightroom, and trying to do it in Premiere has been too complicated for me. It takes too much time, and I'm trying to save time. And the book creation, I'm not using that anymore, but I looked at the list of things that they said they've changed, and it looks great. And I'm not going to go over them because that isn't part of how Lightroom 5 may impact my workflow, okay? So these are all situational. They're all fixing problems. I love the smart previews. Upright, I'm excited about. The healing is going to be handy. So smart previews solves a huge problem. Upright is super handy for my upcoming project, and I'm excited about it. Healing is convenient. Let's call it that. The book stuff, meh. The slideshow, it's not really usable for me. What else did they change? In the list of other things, they're not going to affect me. Affect me. PNG file support's not going to affect me. The full screen mode that they did, I'm not a huge fan of it so far. You hit F, it goes into big view, but there's no like overlay of stars. You can't see the well, you can see the information overlays, but I don't know if I'm going to go through and do selections with that either, because yeah. So let's go back. I'm transparent buttons for improved text creation in books. No. LAB color readout. It's not something I use right now. I don't use DNGs very much at the moment, but maybe someone does an experiment and says now DNG file usage increases your time by X amount, then I'm on board, okay? The direction field in the metadata, I don't even know if my GPS records that. The aspect slider in the manual tab, yeah, that's pretty cool. Let me show you that real fast. And I could use that a little bit more. Let's go to develop, and this will be one of the last things that I share. Let's go down to manual in lens correction. It just squishes things, and that's not going to look great in a lot of your pictures, but it may look fine in some of them, okay? So yes, these are my final thoughts. That Lightroom 5 beta, and they may improve to the Lightroom 5 final version, and they usually always do improve. So it's almost a given that they're going to add a couple of last gotchas so that you buy their file or upgrade. And I wonder if the price is going to go down. But I think if you are just now thinking about using Lightroom, this is the time, because you can jump into Lightroom 5 and start using it for free all the way probably till, well, they said till June. And then even when Lightroom 5 official comes out, you can get the 30-day trial, so you can, test this sucker for a little while until you have to pay for it. And you will end up paying for it because you're going to get stuck and love this. Now, some of these things may not be cool enough for you, and if you're trying to save some money, you may not want to upgrade to Lightroom 5. If these smart previews you're not traveling much, if you don't heal things, spot remove things right now all that much, if you're not working with a lot of buildings, or you're fine doing it manually by evening your horizons and stuff like that, then you're probably okay right now. So it's not solving problems for everyone. And they may not have enough in here to convince everyone to upgrade to Lightroom 5. Like, I think everyone probably upgraded from 3 to 4 because it affected what Lightroom 4 did, affected every picture. Every picture, it had something that you did on every picture. This is not the case, but I love what they've done. And I think I'm editing in Lightroom 5. Though it won't matter, I'll probably edit in some Lightroom 4 until the official version comes out. But especially if it deals with buildings or a lot of corrections on faces, I'm definitely in Lightroom 5. And I'm in Lightroom 5 because I want to get good at it. So that's my story. This is Scott JARVIE. This is Photographer's Life. I don't do tutorials for every video by any stretch of the imagination. I deal with everything that has to do with with a photographer's life, and I put out videos every day. This is simply because because this impacts my life quite a bit. I decided to do my first impressions and how it's going to affect my workflow. Hope you enjoyed that, and I'm sure there's more questions to be asked, so ask them to me, and I'll see what I can do to